Hey, welcome. We're back again here with the Black Agenda Network. We have myself, co-host, Miss Eileen Reed, only one of the top 5 revolutionary women I know in the state of California, and she's a mover and shaker. And we have a pretty hot show tonight, a very interesting show that we're going to talk about. But I want to give a shout out to all of the freedom fighters who have been on the front lines. To be a civil rights leader myself, I know what it feels like to be on the front line, hardly getting any support from your community. People who should be standing with you don't stand with you. And so I just want to give a shout out to you, and also the ancestors. All of the freedom fighters that came through the 1960s, the 40s, the 50s, the 20s, and even before the 1900s. We do not want to forget our ancestors, which I stay in close contact with my ancestors to get instructions to, if I feel like I'm by myself, I have an outlet to go and meditate. Hopefully you watched the show last night that we had. From what I'm hearing, a lot of folks really enjoyed the show with our sister, and she was a great inspiration, talking about trauma, different things that she has been through as an individual. I think one of the things that's important that we must not forget, that it's important that we share information with the folks around us, because we never know what someone is going through. We never know. People want to have a safe space to be able to trust, and I believe that's one of the biggest issues in the Black Village. I'm going to use that tonight, the Black Village. That the Black Village is supposed to be a community that's supposed to be able to do constructive criticism, to be able to pat you on the back, and to teach. You know, we somehow know that we have lost our village in 2024. So that's a topic that we're going to be talking about. But I wanted to hand it over to our co-host here to let her have some few words right now.
Wow, thank you, Rev. Good evening, everybody. We're coming to you live on November 7th, 2 days after the November 5th election. And I know there are a lot of people out there who are angry, heartbroken, gobsmacked, and wondering, what are we going to do now? And I fielded phone calls at my house this morning and yesterday morning, people very upset. And I'm upset too, but here's the thing. If our ancestors could survive 400 years of enslavement in this country, and we are here, then we can survive 4 more years of this person that's going to be at the White House. What it is that we have to do, like the Rev is talking about with the Black Village, we have to decide what we need to do. But we have to build a foundation for that. And that comes with trust, that comes with believing in one another, and that is always, to me, about not jumping on each other so much to the point where you can't talk to somebody. You know, like Rev was talking about constructive criticism. I want it. You never get too old for that. But we do have the right to talk about things in our neighborhoods, about our children, about our elders, because this is going to get real serious. It's going to get real serious, and Black people, we already know how serious it's going to get. I don't think other people of color understand how it's going to be. When somebody tells you that they're going to start deportation on day 1, I think you should believe them, Rev.
You know, one of the things about, and I know what I'm about to say, you might kind of catch it like, did he really say that? But when it comes to people talking, one thing, you know, this President Trump now has the title that he's been up front about everything that he was going to do. I can respect that. I may not like it, but I can respect a person being up front because I would want to deal with people who want to be up front with me, and I want to be up front with them, than to find out, oh, you're being sneaky. Oh, you're being that. President Trump has said what he's going to do. We know that he has executive power to make certain decisions without even going to Congress. But as I told the people, as you said, Alan, folks was calling me. I was getting calls early in the mornings and all day, and some people were crying, some people was upset, some people said, oh, what are we going to do now? They're going to cut this, they're going to cut that. I'm scared and this and that. But as you said, Alan, black people have endured 400 years of slavery. And this is why I keep telling you all to go get this book called Without Sanctuary.
That's the history right there.
Because this book right here will take you down memory lane, right? So that you won't forget and that you will stay engaged in your community, right? Now, this is the front cover of a book of a black brother being hung in a tree, okay? When you open the book up, you have a town hall lynching, okay? You have a town hall lynching of a man being burned alive. This is a black man, okay? So, I believe, we have gotten relaxed.
Yeah, we have.
Not all of us, but a lot of us have gotten relaxed, and we have forgotten what the ancestors went through for them to get us here today.
Exactly.
Okay? And when I was meditating with the ancestors, and that's what I said, you know, we went through blood, sweat, and tears. Blood, sweat, and tears. We tried to build cities for you all so that we could pass it down to you all, but unfortunately the Klan and the U.S. government came and burned them all down. But we tried to do that. It's in black and white. It's in the history books.
Absolutely.
Okay? But then the ancestor says, well, you all have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, laptops, iPads, iPhone 6s, all the stuff that we did not have, you all have today, and look what you're doing with it.
Exactly. Exactly. My maternal grandma used to say that the generations will get weaker, will get wiser but weaker. And I think what she meant was you're going to have advanced book learning, but something in your character or something else is going to get weaker. And we have gotten weak. You know, the last time that I really saw brothers and sisters who were standing up and ready to go toe-to-toe with the authorities was in the 60s as a kid, and that would be the Black Panther Party. Now, I know that there are some chapters of the new Black Panther Party who are probably organizing even as we speak. And I trust and believe in these brothers and sisters because we are going to have to take care of ourselves. We can't expect the government to come and do it. We can't expect our neighbors who do not look like us to come and do it. I don't care how nice they are. You don't know what happened in that voting booth. Somebody voted for this man to put him over the top to get back in office. And I just want to share something that I got off Facebook earlier today. And this was a post by Michael Eisinger. Rev, you know this guy. He's the one who wrote about the black towns in California.
Right.
He listed this word. It's called recrudescene. Recrudescene. It's a 17th century word. And it says the return of something terrible after a time of reprieve. recrudescene, a 17th century word. The return is something terrible after a time of reprieve. So the question we need to ask ourselves is, where do we go from here? And I'm just going to say this, and then I'm going to hush and let Rev talk. We need to double down on our organizing. We need to be organizing 24/7, 365, and not just talking about it, but being about it. Because this is going to get real serious real quick.
So there's a organizing slogan that I have called, it says, don't whine, but organize. And as many of you across the world, I'm not scared, because I don't care, who won, Harris or Trump. I'm still going to survive. I'm still going to make sure my family is eating. I'm going to do whatever I have to do as a man, right? Because our ancestors did. They went through more hell than we're going through today. Absolutely. They got whipped, they got raped, they got tied on railroad tracks, they had been shot down with water hoses, they had canine dogs eating up their flesh. And I know good and well nobody here in Fresno or anyone watching YouTube right now, unless you were the age of John Lewis in that era, experienced that. So we haven't experienced none of that. But yet at the same time, we sit here, we can't even come together as a people, a culture of people, to come in one room, sit down, let's talk, act like we have some sense. See, America has divided us with this individualism conversation. The American dream. What dream? I like for someone to really tell me what American dream is. Because as far as we're concerned, the 400 years of slavery that we've been dealing with this history book right here, the American dream has been an American damn nightmare.
That's right.
So what do you mean American dream? There is no dream for us here. We have been struggling for 400 years, still struggling for 400 years. Can't open up businesses, we can't get bank loans, we can't do really anything. Our whole community is under siege, from California all the way to the East Coast, to the South and everything. But what's interesting to me, Alan, what's interesting to me is, when I looked at the TV, I seen majority red all across the nation.
Yeah.
Now, we know that Jim Crow, black codes, all that was started in the South. The slaves came and went to the South to go to work on plantations.
That's right.
So how is it that today that a man represent white supremacy, represent institutionalized racism, represent everything that we don't want as a people that's healthy for us, was able to get the majority of the country to vote for him? And like I said, he told everybody what he's going to do straight up. But see, here's the thing. It's about money. It's not about morals. So there's no morals in the United States. Because if it was morals, there would have been no slavery.
Absolutely. Come on.
So you got to understand the cloth that this man is cut from. He ain't lied about nothing. I can respect, I don't like it, but I can respect a person telling me up front what they plan to do.
Exactly.
But the bigger question is, what are we going to do as a people?
What are we going to do? And he has already thrown down the gauntlet. So basically what he's saying with his white supremacist rhetoric is that I want white men to be in charge. Y'all follow me and do what I say do. And how many women, see, when certain feminists talk about women, they're not talking about me. They're talking about white women. So there had to be quite a majority of white women voting for him, even though they say they want reproductive rights. That they say they want them, but when they go in the ballot box, the booth, to vote, somebody is voting for this man, and it's not just their husband. So here's my thing, Rev. Who benefits from this man being in office? It's not people that look like you and me. It's not our children, because remember, he wants to shut down the Department of Education. He wants to wipe that out. He wants to wipe out FEMA. He wants to overhaul the Food and Drug Administration and put that crazy Kennedy in charge of that. He wants to go after his own, political enemies. This is supposed to be a democracy, but all of us sitting here understand that this is a so-called democracy. And even MLK, towards the end of his life, said he did not know if he was asking his people to come into a house that was already on fire, trying to integrate and work peacefully with the white majority at that time. So we have to decide how we're going to do this. This is not a time to be wringing our hands and crying about what happened. Forget all that. Let's focus on what we need to do now. And I was just at a community meeting Monday. I'm not even going to get into the details, but there were 60 people at that meeting. 3/4 of the people in that meeting did not want to go ahead with what the people running the meeting were talking about. And the people running the meeting had already made a decision. So basically it was the information. We do not communicate. This is what Reverend Harris is talking about. It used to be you could talk to people at church and get the word out about different things, or at a PTA meeting and get the word out about different. We don't go to PTA meetings anymore. We ain't going to church anymore. We're on Facebook. We're on social media. Young people at this meeting said, I don't care about any of that. I don't care about holding on to something old. Let's talk about, is it going to have internet access? Let's talk about moving forward. If you do not understand your history, you will be doomed to repeat it, and none of us want to go through what we already been through, Rev.
Right, exactly. Those of you that's watching right now, you're with your host, Dr. Harris, co-host, Alan Reed. This is called the Black Agenda Network. Black Agenda Network broadcasting right out of West Fresno, the Golden West Side of Fresno. We're still here. We haven't went anywhere. We're going to hold the front line. And that's why I kept telling everybody that called me. Hold the front line. Know what's going on in your local government. Know what's going on in your local city, because that's where it first started, and then it branches out to the state level, and then it branches out to the national level in Washington, D.C. But the call-in number is 516-453-9086, 516-453-9086. Please call in. We have a caller on the line right now. I'm going to go ahead and chime this caller in, see what you have to say. Welcome to the Black Agenda Network here in Fresno, California. How are you doing today? Are you there? Caller 5722.
Hello?
Hi, how are you today?
I'm fine, how are you?
Great. Welcome to the Black Agenda Network here in Fresno, California. Thank you for calling in. Would you like to chime in on what we're talking about today? Talking about the election, talking about the black community. You have the floor.
Hello everybody, and to everyone, and I was just listening. It was an interesting conversation, about history, what's going to be happening, for our future. Hopefully, it's just trying to learn and see what we can do to prepare what's going to be happening in the future with Trump. Now that he's in office, I know that all that we can do at this point is trust in God. To what to expect. That's all I can do.
So as a woman, like, are you scared? Are you nervous? Are you? I know you're concerned. That's why you're on the show. But does this bring a different type of fear moving in the next 4 years? So we know what happened in the first 4 years, right? Now we got another 4 years.
Right.
How do you process that in your psyche, in your mind?
Well, what happened last time it was unexpected.
Right.
That we survived, made it through. And I believe this time, I'm a faith person, so I'm on my faith. So I've known in past experience how God has brought me through. As a single mother, God has brought me through those situations. Especially in the past, so we survived. So I believe we're going to survive this time. I'm not sure what to expect, or what. But in the meantime, I know, like I said, I trust in God, so I know we're gonna come through. It might get rough. I believe it's gonna get rough. It's gonna get tight. It's gonna get tight, but at the end of the day, when all is said and done, I know I'm gonna make it.
That's good.
So I'm pretty confident in that. I don't know what to expect. I know that whatever happens, I might get nervous a little bit, but I know we're gonna be all right.
Well, what do you think about what she's saying,
I think,
from a woman's perspective?
I think that I agree with her about, we've come this far by faith, and that's one of the things that helped our ancestors to survive, having faith in one another and having faith in God. And one thing about faith, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. If you believe, you already got your armor and you're ready to go. And it sounds as though she's ready for whatever is coming down the pipe. And when she was saying that she was concerned and she's not really sure what's going to happen, it really reminded me of the fact that Trump was in office when COVID hit, and he mishandled that. Now we've got this avian flu that's hitting all these dairies in the Central Valley, and I'm wondering, is that going to blow up, and how is he going to handle something like that? So it's funny how the devil comes with all these signs that follow him, and to me, this avian flu is one of them. It was sort of like a harbinger or something, a sign that something evil was coming this way. And this man is definitely evil. I mean, he's got daughters. He doesn't care about reproductive rights or abortion rights or birth control. He doesn't care about any of that because they have money. But for the rest of it, it's tough times. But I agree with the sister that, we need our faith to hold on to.
Yeah, and I also thank you for being honest with your statement. I also believe that black men, M-E-N, when I say men, M-E-N, I'm not talking about boys, B-O-Y-S, because you have men, M-E-N, that has the mentality of a boy. And so we have to understand now that we need men to step up and to protect our children and our women by any means necessary. Now, people call me radical, you can call me whatever the hell you want to call me, it doesn't make no difference to me. But the bottom line is, when you look at Nat Turner, who stood and fought and went through a slave revolt to bring justice to our community for the lives that folks that died, right? He sacrificed his life for our people. Medgar Evers sacrificed his life to give people to vote, the right to vote in Mississippi. and he was shot in the back of the head with his 3 little girls on the other side of
Mhm.
the door because he was doing the right thing. He was being a man, standing up
Mhm.
for our people the time that he was here, because he understood that if he wanted a better future for his babies, even though he didn't see them no more after they put that bullet in the back of his head, he knew that he was going in the right direction
Yes.
for change.
Yes.
And the problem I see, Sister Day, is we don't have real men that's willing to stand up for change and sacrifice themselves for our people, for our children, and for our community. And so it's really mind-boggling to me where we're at today as black people right now. Now, we have wealthy black people, but the problem is in California, I'm not sure what state are you in?
Alabama.
You're in Alabama. We in California. There's really no history in California other than Allensworth and the Black Panther Party. And if you want to go further, say the Crips and things like that with Tookie Williams. But we don't have any real history like in the South does.
No, the South has got the history, and they've got the blood so brown to prove it. And we need to know our history, because when Rev was talking about Medgar Evers, there were men just maybe 5 or 10 years ahead of that, deacons of defense, that had fought in World War II and Korea, who deacons of defense had guns, and they were ready to protect their neighborhoods, protect their women, their children, their elders, and the voting rights workers that were down there registering people to vote. So black men and the women who stood with them have been in this fight for a long time. So we don't want anybody to get it twisted when Rev mentioned certain people. There were people behind Medgar, too, fighting these fights. You know, women who were cooking and feeding folks who were on the front line. So we have done, many of us, what we need to do.
Right.
You know, like,
Right. No, you're right, Arlene. It's one of those things right now where we gonna have to figure this out.
Gonna have to figure it out.
We're gonna, I mean, it's like burning the midnight oil, right? You know, there's many times, Sister, that Dr. King and Rob Abernathy, where they stayed up all night strategizing. What do we need to do? Because we have to understand, Alan, there was a time in history here where black people couldn't vote in this country.
That's right.
And it wasn't until 62, 63, or 4, I forget what year it was, 64, that King was able to negotiate, right? And why should he have to negotiate
Gotta negotiate it.
for us to vote? That don't even make sense, but he negotiated with Johnson to sign the bill.
Exactly.
Right? But didn't, help me out, Alan, but didn't white women were able to vote before black women?
They were. They got the vote, I believe it was in either 1920 or 1922. The suffragettes got the right to vote for white women. So it was only black folks.
Right.
Only black folks. And even with that bill that got signed, they have to renew that so many years. I mean, it's not in the Constitution. They have to, you know,
Every
update that.
25 years, that signature has to be re-signed for black people. Congress has to go back and vote on, are we going to allow the slave children to vote again every 25 years? It's not set in stone,
It's not set in stone
at all. And that was John Lewis.
Exactly.
Was he had created a bill.
That's right.
To go to Trump or to sign, but when John Lewis passed away, on his way to the cemetery, Trump vetoed the bill.
Sure
and
did.
now every 25 years it has to be
Reinventing that wheel.
So to me, that's just ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, because think about it, black men have fought in every war, from the Revolutionary War up until right now, that this country has had. So it's sort of like James Baldwin and Du Bois talking about, I love my country, but does my country love me?
Right.
You a soldier, you wear the uniform, you dodging bullets, like Brother Tony talked about, and you don't know if you come back. My dad came back from World War II, couldn't even get a loan in the city of Fresno with his GI Bill. Couldn't even get a loan. Had to go to had to go to Merced to find a mortgage company where he could build a house in a red line area of West Fresno. So we have already paid our dues. We're due our reparations. We already know how that's going to go. If they gave everybody that 40 acres and a mule, maybe the conversation would be different, but they didn't.
Right.
So now some of us think that just because integration, we can go to school and sit next to white folks, that everything is good. Well, everything is not good. Public schools, Reverend Harris and I were just talking about this. Public schools are not teaching our children anything, really. And so that means if they're not getting it in public school, that means the parents and the community gonna have to teach them, because otherwise they're gonna get caught up in the prison industrial complex, and then it's game over.
Well, the real issue that I look at, like Fannie Lou Hamer, she was in Mississippi, and Fannie Lou Hamer, she created freedom schools.
Yes, she did.
And that's what I modeled our freedom school here in Fresno behind, is that it was independent. See, we don't understand as black people that when we were independent, we were more powerful. It's when we got integrated into this madness with America Dream conversation is where we lost our independence. Now, I get it. I understand. God tells folks to do certain movements, to say certain things. But, when I look at Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1921, there were so many businesses that we had during that time that we controlled. We control. And that's the part that we have lost, is that us being in control, not someone else being in control of us. Exactly. It seems to me that every other ethnic in this United States of America, they want to control the narrative of black folk, right? When it was black folk who invented everything in this country for them to be the beneficiaries of, right? And so when we look at it, we have to understand that, and I will argue today that, and I'm not even worthy to tie Dr. King's shoestrings. I'm really not. I'm not even probably worthy to be in the same room with Dr. King. But I think there's one thing that I would have to disagree with Dr. King on. And maybe our listening audience may agree, and you may disagree. It's fine, because I have a right to my opinion. Tulsa, Oklahoma, there's over 30 cities built after slavery. And these 30 cities were built by black people. Blood, sweat, and tears. They put their all into it. And they were building those cities to pass down to us today. That's why those cities were being built. That's why those farms were being built. To pass down to the next several generations. Well, we wasn't nothing passed down to us, because the Ku Klux Klan and the U.S. government in cahoot with each other went and burnt down and destroyed everything that black people were trying to build for their children, great-great-grandchildren, and us today. Now, while the white man had stole the land from the slaves after they received land from plantation owners. Then they brought in the Ku Klux Klan to come in and take their land and to scare them off.
That's right.
So now you hear people say, oh, well, pull yourself up from your bootstrap. I don't even have a boot with straps on it because you took that too. I mean, so it gets ridiculous when we start talking and dialoguing about people want to call us lazy. Hell, how can we be lazy when we the one that invented everything?
Hello.
How can black people be lazy when we invented the elevator that you ride on for your skyscrapers up into your waterfront hotel? How can black people be sorry when we created the cell phone? How can we be a people that's lazy when we created pieces that go on the railroad track for the train?
We did the work.
It's just ridiculous to me.
That's the narrative.
And I think that we have got sucked in to this American dream crap when our ancestors were building communities.
They were.
Look at this. I want to read this to everybody. This is from Black Wall Street. Founded in 1908. Founded in 1908, and it was destroyed in 1921. We had 600 businesses going strong. We had 21 churches going strong. We had 21 restaurants going strong. We had 30 grocery stores going strong. This is the community that black folks built here in America. I ain't talking about China. I'm not talking about Europe. I'm not talking about none of those places. I'm talking about right here, the people who got off those slave ships, came over here and built 2 movie theaters. They had 6 private airplanes, plus a hospital, a bank, a post office, law officers, and even a bus system. So how can a lazy people who are the people who created trigonometry,
Absolutely.
created math, built the pyramids, but see, we got caught up in this American dream stuff. And I'm not saying I'm against education, but I look at who's teaching the education.
Exactly. And what is it you always say? The oppressor is not going to teach you how to be free. He's not going to do it. And we have to understand that Europeans came over here, created this narrative about lazy black folks, that they were going to civilize us with Christianity and all of this. This was the big lie that continues to get told right now. It's being told right now. And how do I prove it? Trump just got reelected. A person that's got 34 felonies, that has no respect for women, that has 5 or 6 children with 3 different women, and this is who this so-called democracy has elected to be their leader. I am sure that Russia and China and the people who are in charge in those countries, Vladimir Putin and President Xi, are on the floor rolling. That this dunderhead, this nitwit, who has handlers, this person who is addicted to Adderall and doesn't even have control over his own bowel system, is the next president of the United States. We have got work to do as a people, and I don't want to hear any more excuses about, I got to go to work. Well, I'm retired now, but I went to work. I got my first job at 14, and my mama started at 9. So we are not lazy. How could slaves be lazy? And we've been free for how many years? And all the inventions and everything, we have survived, just like our Native American brothers have survived. We have survived. But now it's time for us to thrive. And in order to do that, we got to come together. Stop believing the hype that you cannot trust your brother and sister, that they after something, that they want something from you. You know, when you go into a black business, don't try to talk them down from their prices. You don't do that at Walmart. You don't do that at McDonald's. I mean, come on, y'all. We're better than that. And I have to just say this, for those of you who want to leave the country, you better make sure your passports are in order. Because that's going to be some serious stuff if it's not. It's going to be some serious stuff. And for those of you who believe in firearms, I suggest that you make sure that you get some. If you don't have some, make sure you purchase them legally. Go to the range. Brother Tony Bullock was always saying this. You know, go to the range and do it the right way. Learn how to use it for self-protection. I'm not talking about just helter-skelter violence. But Rev, this is doable. Don't you think this is doable?
It's time to stop playing games. And I'm specifically talking to black folks right now, because we have gotten into this space where we think we're better than each other. No, we are brothers and sisters keepers. That's what we are. And we have to learn how to put our differences aside, come to the table for the betterment of the community. It made no sense to me to look at that TV and seeing all red across the United States. That I believe it was New York and some little state up there that was blue. But the majority of this whole thing was red. And so we're just saying here, and we're trying to put our heads together here at Fresno, trying to figure out, so what is our marching orders now? What do we need to do? See, we've been teaching people for over 25 years to grow your own food. But people come up with every excuse why they don't have time to come out to the Freedom School. Oh, it's too early. Oh, it's too hot. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. What if this government now say, you know what, we're closing all the grocery stores? What are you going to do then? What are you going to do? You're going to sit there and cry like we did when he became president? Or are you going to come out and learn? We have a session this Saturday. And I want to see how many people come out to this session, because we're planting mustards, collards, kale, onions, and all that stuff. I just want to see who's going to come out, who's really serious about the movement right now. There's too much talk going on, and you flapping your gums, and you ain't saying nothing. It's the time is you're going to live or you're going to die. You can keep eating the enemy food day and night if you want to. Keep going to McDonald's. Keep going to Wendy's. Keep going to Pandas. Keep going to Burger King. Keep going to all those fast food places. Because all it is a coffin waiting on you to kill you, because you don't have enough sense to come out and partner with Freedom School so that we can teach you how to grow your own food.
Organic. That's right. That's right.
It just makes no sense. We have a book right here, Farming While Black. You see that book, Farming While Black? And so it's time out for all this silliness and all this division amongst us and all this who want to be in charge, who. I mean, we got too many chiefs right now. We need some laborers right now to help get things moving right now.
Come on.
Because I can tell you this right now. Every ethnic in this country right now is building for themselves.
Everyone.
I'm not mad at them. Because you're supposed to do for your community.
Do for self.
But when it comes to us,
it's a problem.
first thing we do, get an education. Let's use the term ghetto right now, for lack of better words.
All right.
The ghetto. I lived in the ghetto, where there's a lot of shooting and a lot of killing and this, and okay, I get it. But that ghetto is the one help you got to college, get your degree. And then you turn around and leave the community and go live uptown with a bunch of folks that call themselves rich, and you abandon the black ghetto that you want to call ghetto.
Won't spend your money in the black community.
And they make you feel that you better than those that you left. And it was those that you left that supported you to help you get you where you need to go. So what is the problem here with black folks? Even our black churches right now, they're divided. We sit here doing religious gangbang.
Woo!
You believe in this, and I believe in that. You believe in this, and I believe in that. I got a Catholic church right across the street from my ministry here. See each other every week. But yet, the leadership can't talk together because a Catholic has a certain doctrine, and then we have a certain doctrine. But you mean to tell me we in one community that's supposed to be serving people? Serving people. And we sit here and act like we can't come together in the middle of the street once a year and embrace and hug one another as brothers and sisters. Leave the doctrine inside your church. I'm talking about coming out as humans. To say we care about one another. We care about this community. And we're going to walk together in this community and pray together in this community around the block. We can't even do that. But we want to call out the, we Catholics. We're non-denominational. We're apostolic. Listen, a bullet don't care what denomination you is.
Come on. That's true.
So, I'm gonna call the meeting here because we need to figure out what we're gonna do.
That's right.
Because I can tell you this right now, on an economic piece, we ain't doing nothing. We just showboat. We don't own no warehouses. We don't own no trucking company. The Arabs right now, they done went and built trucking schools for their community. Trucking schools. Building their big palaces and temples right here in our community. We've been here 400 years, we ain't got nothing. Buying all the service stations, gas stations, convenience stores in our neighborhood where our grandparents brought us and grew us up here.
Yeah.
But you mean to tell me that we can't come together with a business plan? You know how to do finances. You know how to write the business plan. You a good laborer over here. Who's going to write the information to get the loan from the bank? We can't even sit around the table and have a decent. Well, if you want me to bring chicken and watermelon, I'll bring chicken and watermelon if that's what's going to bring you to the table. But it makes no sense for our children not to have anything in our communities right now because I'm the big I.
That's right. We're being gentrified out of existence. West Fresno being wiped out.
We have a caller here. Let me bring this caller in. Caller 4953. 4953. Welcome to the Black Agenda Network.
I was listening to you talk about the voting.
Yes, sir.
You say every 25 years they had to vote. I guess you're in Congress to see if blacks would be able to continue to vote.
Where's the caller calling from?
What state you calling from?
From the South right now.
Where in the South?
But is that what you said?
We're trying to figure out where you're calling from, caller, so that we can.
From the Delta region.
Oh, you don't have to be upset about it, brother. I recognize your voice. This is a conservative brother who likes to call in to West Coast shows, and he has a very clear opinion. He's going to lecture us about what we're doing.
I'm not going to lecture you about it. I just asked a question.
I recognize your voice, brother.
So state what you said, brother.
Well, no, I asked, you said that every point you told the lady, the listener, every 25 years, they vote, I guess in Congress, to see if blacks have the right to continue to vote in the public.
Okay, what's your statement?
That was it. Is that what you said?
Yes, what is your statement, sir? I have a long line. State what you need to say.
Well, that's not what the 1965 Voting Rights Act does.
Okay, then tell us what it says.
No, what I would advise people to do is to check that themselves, because it was a consent decree and it only applied to a few states, including Hawaii, by the way. So
Okay, well-
people check it out yourself
Well,
and derive your own opinion. Thank you very much.
thank you. All right, so we sit here in this country here, and I'm glad you said conservative, is because these conservatives here, I don't know, are they black or?
Well, he says he's black. I think he was an architect or engineer, and so is his son. And he used to call into Brother Tony's and my show quite a bit,
Right.
lecturing us about, what we did wrong as black people, and, we need to quit whining and complaining and just get on with it because, he was able to do this. Well, he's one individual. I look at somebody like, shall I say, Clarence Thomas, who was
Right.
very liberal and progressive in college,
Right.
and then climbed that affirmative action ladder, closed the door behind him, married a white woman, and now he's cozied up on the Supreme Court with other conservatives. So black conservatives, I think, have a more interesting viewpoint about what progress is. And this brother from the Delta does not seem to be worried about helping anybody else. Maybe he helped his son or his daughter or somebody like that. But that's the whole problem, though, Rev. That kind of viewpoint is just what Willie Lynch was talking about between house slaves and field slaves. I'm better than you. I was able to do it. So what? If none of us are free until all of us are free. And that's just the bottom line. Enslaved people understood that when somebody figured out how to read or were taught how to read, they didn't think they were better. They were too busy trying to teach somebody else how to read.
I agree.
What happened to that spirit?
I agree.
I commend this brother for his accomplishments. I'm not trying to take nothing away from him. He's not the only somebody who's done postgraduate work. Do I go around talking about money? No, I do not. Because at the end of the day, it does not matter. Until all of us are free, none of us are free. That's it.
Well, we've always told our people in our listening audience to go and research things for themselves. So for him to say that is really relevant. It really has no weight with me because I mean, even myself, people say stuff, I'll go research it myself and come up with my own narrative. So yeah, feel free. Go research the Voting Act bill and this.
1964, brother.
But,
Not 1965.
I know John Lewis wrote that bill and Trump vetoed it.
Yeah,
And
he
so
did.
he want to talk about different states and all this stuff. But anyway, he's really a nobody to me. But anyway, back to what we were talking about. So here we are, 11/7/24. We're getting ready to go through another 4 years. I would tell people that they need to come together. Quit publicizing everything that you're doing. The Black Panther Party had closed sessions where they organized around what they need to do for their community. We're back at that point now
We are.
where we need to organize.
We need to organize, and we need to make sure that we vet people for safety reasons. Because even the Panthers were infiltrated, and it took COINTELPRO, it took the whole United States government
Right.
to bring them down. But you're right, Rev.
Right.
We need to be organized. We need to be talking to one another.
Right. So we're going to be calling, I don't know if it's going to be a town hall, but just a meeting of the minds to figure out where we're at as a village, a black village. And I would encourage everyone to do that. I
Yes.
believe in prayer. I get on my knees every night, in the morning, in the middle of the night, I'm praying. But we still have to have some action
Got to
to
have it.
go with the prayer, right? And so I think that we have to understand we have to do baby steps, not big steps, just baby steps, right?
We have to start because remember y'all, Project 2025 is already written up. They've already got 300 pages. And I'm not just saying that they've already got 300 pages, they're ready to go on day one. And I'm not talking about brainless people, I'm talking about the Heritage Foundation and conservative groups like that who have put their best minds on this project. And they're not considering you, your family, your children, your elders. This ain't, they could care less about you. So we better start caring about ourselves.
The number one, we have about 3 or 4 minutes before we close the show. With the Black Agenda Network here, broadcasting out of Fresno, California. Myself, Dr. Harris, host, and our co-host, Alan Reed, who is a revolutionary sister. We thank her. We want to thank all of our women right now. Women like Lady J, I call her X, Lady Bombay, Dr. Crozier, all these progressive women that you know, Jackie Hodge, may she rest in peace. She did a lot of work here. Sudie Douglas.
Sudie Douglas did
You
a
know, we
lot
give
of work.
a shout out to Sudie. She rest in peace. So, you know, there's a lot of people who have helped us get where we are today. They have passed the baton to us.
Yes.
The question is, what do we do with the baton? Do we drop the baton? Do we run with the baton? Because they ran with the baton. They didn't drop the baton. So this is like, I don't know what they call it, a 440 where you got a hand on the baton. And the baton has been handed off to us. So while we're dealing with this gentleman, Trump, as President of the United States, the question I have is, how does this affect black people? What are we going to do? How are we going to organize? We need to connect. Because I tell you, when I looked at that TV and I seen majority red, most people told me that Trump is about money. And he's going to put some money in our pocket. And that's why we're going to vote for him. Now, if that's your right to say that. But on the moral piece of it, for his police brutality, lynchings and murders and all that, you know, where do we fit in all this?
That's right. Police immunity. That's right.
So, you know, we still have political prisoners still in prison. We can't forget about them. That's why we started this radio show, the Black Agenda Network, Dr. Harris Black Lives Matter show. So it's not time to whine. It's time to organize.
That's right.
And so I'm going to be calling up people that I know, that I trust, that we can sit down and talk. We just want to talk about where are we at, how are we feeling, just doing a check-in right now, right? That's important to us. Our pastors and all that, they're part of this too, you know? They're part of this too. And the members of different churches and ministries, you need to push your pastors to get involved. You know, we just can't, you know, just think it's all about singing and shouting and praying. And,
there's over 20.
It's all good.
There's over 20 black churches on the west side.
Yeah. So, you know, I have, it's probably like 10 around my place, and, you know, I'm gonna reach out to them. I'm gonna extend an olive branch, see if we can have a sit-down conversation, because right now, folks are scared. And
they are, and they should be.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. They should be scared.
Yeah. So, we want to thank you, Sister 5722, for calling in. We thank you
so
for
much.
your input, what you had to say. Sound like you're a mover and shaker over in Alabama. And let us know how we can support you.
And you stay safe.
And you stay safe out there, because that's what we want. We want people to be safe, and we want people to be healthy. And whatever we can do here on the West Coast, we're willing to do it, because we believe in holding the front line.
Right.
We're not sellouts. We never have been sellouts. There's no clearance tag on me. Definitely don't see a clearance tag on Sister Eileen here. And so we're just straight up revolutionaries. And so we're going to stand. We're going to protect our community. We want our men to step up, tighten their belt, and let's do what we got to do for the next 4 years, and let's start organizing. We thank you all, appreciate you all. We'll see you next week.
Stay
We
black.
may have a show Saturday with TJ. I'll find that out. If we do, we'll post it. But Dr. Harris Black Lives Matter show will be running next Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Next Wednesday. We also have a Facebook called the Black Agenda Network. So type that in. You know, I'll post this show tonight. We have other shows we posted on there, so you can go back at your leisure and check them out. And let's stay family. Arlene, say what you always say to us.
Stay black till we get back with y'all.
All right, we out.
God bless y'all.
Thank you, sis.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.